In this age of gender confusion, it's difficult to find advice you can trust to help protect your child from those who would seek to unduly influence them, setting them up to be manipulated and exploited. On Unmasking the Trans Movement, we discuss, educate, and deliver the info parents want and need to help their children, grandchildren, and even themselves. Each week, we connect you with the clinical professionals and subject matter experts who understand what this movement is all about and how to navigate around this disturbing mental health issue. Join UnMaskingTheTransMovement.com for our next webinar, where John Euler, Dr. Ann Gillies, and our clinical experts provide the advice you can trust to help protect your child from those who would seek to unduly influence them and set them up to be manipulated and exploited within the trans movement. Our webinars provide access to supporting groups discussing the issues you want to talk about with other parents and experts alike. Learn to understand how the language has changed, stay up to date on this new lingo, and be able to have a rational, understanding conversation with your child who might be getting dragged into, sorry for the pun, this evil trans agenda. Our mission is clear: to unmask the deception and protect the most vulnerable among us. Please visit our website at UnmaskingTheTransMovement.com. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Unmasking the Trans Movement with John Euler. I'm your host, Brad Wilder. We are live tonight for the first time ever. Here it is, a Sunday evening at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 o'clock Central, and out on the West Coast, let's do the math. I guess that's 6 p.m. If you're just coming online with us, there's going to be a lot to talk about tonight. We are going to be heading out to the West Coast of Canada and the U.S. to talk with none other than Pierre Barn. We've got a great show ready to go. Standing by, of course, is our number one guy, John Euler. John, great to have you on the program tonight. Pierre is also joining us right on cam immediately, so great to have both of you here. Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy Sunday nights. We've got an announcement to make tonight. John, why don't you take it away?
We sure do. And Brad, thank you also for taking time out of your busy schedule. We couldn't be any more thrilled to have our good friend Pierre Barn on with us. He's, we span the continents here. He's on the West Coast, and we are thrilled to help Pierre make the announcement. He did so live a couple of days ago at a live event, but he is running for office in British Columbia, the legislative office. Now, me being from the U.S., Pierre, I'm the perfect person for you to help translate that into, for those of us in the U.S., but you've decided you need to throw your hat into the ring, so to speak. So tell us the office that you are running for as an independent candidate.
Yeah, I'm running for the Abbotsford South, actually, MLA, provincial government. Yeah.
MLA stands for?
Member of the Legislative Assembly.
There we go. And if people can't tell, you are bilingual. You speak French. What part of Canada are you originally from?
I'm originally from Quebec, of course, and a small town in Quebec.
There we go. So for those that speak French, they're going to find you a good ally there, because boy, oh boy, does Quebec need help. But anyways, we're thrilled, Pierre. You have been a champion like no one else. You've been out there. You have done incredible tech work in terms of, you have a site. We've kind of piggybacked off of that, or really done a collaborative effort. We here at UnmaskingTheTransMovement.com. You have Exposing Soji, and it's a tremendous resource for parents in the U.S. and Canada. So I'm going to make a pitch for this first, where they can go online and do a real-time search of their kids' libraries or school libraries to find out if and how many of these sexually deviant books that are in libraries. And you've done work like nobody else here. So when I found out you were running for office, I thought, okay, we've got to have Pierre back on, not only to help educate parents about the website that you've put together. So we'll have you make a pitch for that. But then we're going to talk about not just your candidacy, but speaking to those that may consider also, and hopefully we will encourage good citizens, good parents to likewise run for office, because we have a lot of junk, a lot of very evil stuff going on in schools. You have now felt compelled to run for office. So let's talk about your website, give parents a sense of where they can go to look up those deviant books, and then we'll talk about your platform and why we need this in schools, as we will look at some actual news clips of things that have recently happened in schools.
Sure. You want to start with the website?
Let's start with the website.
Okay. Yeah, sure. My website is exposingsoldier123.com. I think I created probably 3 years ago, something like that. So what I did is I bought I bought the book that I thought were inappropriate in schools. I reviewed them, then I put the book online so parent can have access to it and judge for themselves if the book is inappropriate for them or not. Right? At least now they know. They know they have a list of titles that they can verify if those books are in the school. And I also make research in many libraries all across the country to find out where the books were. And I publish this online on my site. And I also have research within all the teacher misconduct case all across the country. The teacher misconduct case related to sexual abuse, and put all them on the side just to explain to parents that we need to keep an eyes on our children, even if they are at school. Things happen there. It's not school is where predator go to abuse children, right? School is the new church. Right? Before they used to go to church, now they go to school, right? Because especially now with all the explicit materials, that's a dream for predator. They can go in schools and have all this grooming material that they can use to groom and sexually abuse children, and now they are they are protected by the institutions, which I think we have the proof of it, that they are clearly protected by the institutions, because when we expose what they are doing, the institution is doing nothing, and they are even protecting the predators. We are showing them people who are showing sexually explicit material, or drag queer, let's say, that are doing explicit stuff and stuff in the front of children. We are showing this to the authorities, and they are doing nothing. So in Canada, groomer are protected in school. So and the danger with that is it's going to get exponential, because, as I said, schools are now a dream place for predator, and what's going to happen is going to have more and more predator that are going to go there, because they know that they are protected by the institutions again. So it's very dangerous what we do. And we're making this child sexual abuse. We're making the case of those who are sexually abused even worse, because now it seems that everywhere the grooming is allowed in our society. So anyway, that's mine.
Here, for those that think, oh, come on, you're exaggerating. The grooming isn't taking place, and the schools wouldn't dare provide shelter, as it were, or cover for predators. Well, let's watch a clip from Candace Owens, a recent clip. We'll find out exactly what is going on in schools where these kind of individuals that you're speaking of, Pierre, are gaining access.
The principal of an Oklahoma elementary school that is moonlighting as a drag queen was previously arrested on child porn charges. Yes, this is real, and I'm going to tell you about that principal. His name is Dr. Shane Mernon. He is 52 years old, and he is the principal of John Glenn Elementary School in southwestern Oklahoma City. So, first, right away, from the LGBTQ activist, there's nothing wrong if he also wants to dress up like a drag queen and be in front of kids and read story times. That's just, I don't know, love is love. I get it.
We lost your audio, John.
There's no audio.
Sorry, folks. Little technical issue here. John has kind of lost the audio, but we'll see if we can get that back.
Have I lost the audio with that?
Yeah, we did lose the audio. It jumped out.
Oh, okay. Let me try it again. We're live.
Yeah, no, we start again. It's all technical happens, That's the way it goes.
You give me thumbs up.
We're good. Let's give it a go right now.
With possessing child pornography and drugs. You might wonder, how could someone that had...
That's where it drops out, right there. So we're not sure what.
Elementary school will be allowed in front of children. I'm going to tell you how. They seized the digital devices at that time. They were able to glean at least 4 images of pornographic material. However, a judge later determined that the prosecutors had not proven that the victims in the images were in fact underage.
Let me just double check. Is this coming through?
Yeah, we're all good, John. You bet.
And that works. So even if you have a picture of a child and they're able to say this is an underage child, the prosecution has to prove this is the
dropped out again.
Documentation that this person is 11 years old. Well, they were unable to prove that, right? The judge said, I don't think that you have adequately proven this. Another judge disagreed and said, no, absolutely, this is child pornography. It's obvious, okay? But then another court sided with the first judge, and Dr. Mernon got lucky. They dismissed the child porn charges on essentially a technicality. You can't actually tell me who is in this image and how old this individual is. So in the end, all Dr. Mernon received for having had these pornographic childlike images, which obviously caused this disruption, this disagreement between the judges, was a probation sentence for the drugs, a marijuana charge. And then he later had his record expunged in 2003. Now, with his newly clean record, he emerged as a drag queen persona in 2004 and 2006. He then spent the next several years cultivating his drag queen career before he began teaching in Oklahoma again, moving to work as an assistant principal in Prairie Queen Elementary School in Oklahoma City. For whatever reason, this year, the school board decided to have a private meeting to consider several administrative candidates, including Dr. Mernon, to be nominated to fill the principal vacancy at John Glenn Elementary School. So most of those school board meetings are public. This one was private, and they decided to have an executive session behind closed doors, and for 40 minutes, they then emerged, the school board, and decided that Dr. Mernon was their candidate, and he became the principal of an elementary school. Somebody who had images of what at least looked like to prosecutors and a judge like child porn images, but they were unable to prove in the technicality that it was, that his record expunged, is now a principal at a school in Oklahoma. Where are the parents? The inner?
There we go. That is what we've been asking for a long period of time. It's starting to happen, a groundswell of parents. Pierre, you're one of those parents that not only has gotten involved, but now you are deciding to run for political office. So we need more good parents like you to get involved. So speak to, first of all, address that, whatever comes to mind about that clip, and then let's talk to those parents about your journey. How did you decide to come to this decision to run for office?
Yeah, regarding the clips, it's I think we all know that someone who dressed like a drag queen and wants to be around children's got a problems. And I don't care what people think about what I'm saying. If they think I'm freaking a bigot, I don't give a damn. I've been called a bigot for a couple of years now, so I'm quite immune to this. So so anyway, so I think what's happened now, it's all the case of the weirdos that the from the LGBTQ community, plus WTF, you know what I mean? All those cases, they start to be exposed to the public, right? So, and people start to realize, oh my gosh, what we were talking about, that something wrong was going on with sexual abuse and this community. Well, that's true. It's true. Things happens. I remember like a couple of years ago, people were saying, "Oh, there is no people from the LGBT community that abuse children. It doesn't happen. It never happened. And now suddenly everything pop up, and we realize that a bunch of pedophiles were. I think I'm not sure if it's in Canada or in US that there is a pedophile that was the president of some kind of pride youth associations. So a pride associations for children, and the guy was a pedophile, and he was the president of that association, and they did many things like that. So anyway, so yeah, so I think yeah, I think you always have to question why a drag queen story wants to read story to childrens. Why? Well, what's the point of having a guy with dressed like a woman, over sexualizations of a woman's going and why this guy wants to be there? That guy doesn't have nothing else to do with his life. I
Very
mean,
good.
why
Pierre,
do
isn't that exactly what the apologists of this, meaning those that are the proponents, that want good people to second guess themselves, to no longer be able to discern what's right in front of their face. So whether and all these dots connect. So whether it's drag queen story hour, reading in front of kids, whether it is trying to put men in women's prisons,
yeah,
sexually deviant men, or trying to allow sexually deviant men, cross-dressing guys, on women's and girls' sports teams. Therefore, they have direct access into the showers and the locker rooms.
yeah, it's a complete nonsense. People have been groomed to believe that everything is good until now it's put into their face that lots of those people are child abusers. It's very simple. And in regards to me running for MLA, well, I think every parents, every every everyone who has been fighting government overreach the past couple of years should run. And the reasons I'm running is I think it's time to clean up the swamp. There's an expression in English, clean up the swamp. I mean, my point is, uh, over the past 4 years, I don't know many politicians who were there to speak about against gender ideology, and I don't know many politicians who were there to speak about any other government overreach. There's not many. I can count them uh, with one hand, probably in Canada, the politicians who were fighting against gender ideology. So all the other that are now pretending to fight against gender ideology, because there is a couple conservative people that start to talk against gender ideology. Well, who were they before? Who were those people before? Why should we re-elected people who did nothing for us the past 4 years and did nothing for us to protect our children the past 4 years? Because the only things they do now is because there is an elections coming, and the gender ideology and the over sexualization of children, it's a political issue that is going to give them the win that they need, because parents don't want this in school. That's going to give them the win. So what they do is they talk about it right now, just before the elections, right? And they are saying everyone, "Oh, we're going to save you, right? We're going to remove gender ideology from schools and all this stuff." But those people were not there 4 years ago. They were not talking about it. And as usual, trust me, I don't trust any of those people, and I don't trust any of the politicians, because how many times have politicians made a promise? Right? They made a promise and they don't follow the promise.
Well, it's
And
good you
and
bring
now the
that.
things that
It's good you bring that up, Pierre, because we had Fred Deutsch on the show just the other day, and Fred and John and I had a great discussion. John, maybe you
yeah.
want to kind of jump in here on that discussion with Fred, because that was something out of the United States that actually is bringing some power to the people again, and taking this out of schools and dealing with it in a real, I guess, top-down value and way.
That's right, Dr. Fred Deutsch. We had him on the program. There was a huge success here in the States that the Idaho bill entitled the Protection of Vulnerable Youth Act that Dr. Deutsch actually crafted and has been passed, I think, in 27 states now in the U.S. That was upheld by the U.S. Supreme Court. So it is now, and that does a number of things, not the least of which allows for criminal and civil sanctions, penalties for doctors that would go ahead and harm kids through the any kind of medicalization, whether sterilization or amputation. You have spoken to that as well, but it really is a groundswell. That template, that bill is available. You can go online here in the States, but as you've said, Pierre, it's high time. It's high time that parents stand up. You are one of it. What was that decision like? By the way, let's have you speak to
Remember
someone that
what
that
I didn't want to run as a politician before. I had no uh, no motivations to be a politician before. I didn't want it. It's not something that I thought I would want to do. The only reasons I'm running is because the peoples are running in my city. They're incompetent. They were not there when we needed them, and now they're pretending that they are there to help us. And I just don't trust those people. I think they're a bunch of hypocrites. And I just that's the reason. That's the reason I'm running. If someone's in my city was good enough to run the place and I will trust them to remove soldiers, I will not run. I will not run against those people. Well, I'm running because I don't think anyone there is there to protect our children. So that's it. So that's the reason I'm running. So so
you're
yeah.
you're you're serving as an example. I want to encourage people, even on the local level,
Yeah, but
even
I
the
just want to
school
clarify.
board.
I just want to clarify something. I'm not pretending that I'm going to save the world or save my city. That's not what I'm pretending. What I want, and that I'm tired of those freaking people who are saying that I'm going to save you, or I'm the savers, and vote for me, and everything will change. I'm tired of this shit, and I think everyone is tired to hear that. I think what I want to do is I want to give the power back to the people. I want to give the voice back to the parents. I want to force those people to listen to the parent at school board meeting. I want them to listen to parent at city council. I don't want parents to be cancelled anymore when they talk about controversial issues. Because that's what happened. That's exactly what they want, right? They don't want us to talk about issue because they want to create a chilling effect into the society when no one wants to talk about issues and when they can push whatever ideology they want towards peoples because we're not allowed to speak, right? And everyone doesn't feel like they have the power to do anything. I want to empower people. I want to empower even empower the police force to show them that they can do something. That's not true that they cannot do anything about gender ideology and the over sexualization of children. That's what they think right now. I talked with one police officer yesterday, actually at one of our rally, and I posted this actually on my Facebook, and and I explained. The guy told me, "Well, Pierre, we cannot do anything." I said, "Pierre, I like the work that you do, man, but we cannot do anything." I said, "A police officer told me that they cannot do anything about sexual abuse that is happening in school. I don't know. I don't know, or they have been corrupt or manipulated to think that, So for now, what's going on now is our children are only protected outside of school. They're not protected by the police in school because the police doesn't seems to want to put their nose there, just because of political issue. I mean, if I was to tell the police there is a gun in school, the police will go right away. Right? It will go right away. There is a gun in school. It's dangerous. There is a threat, right? But if I show them that, if I told them, oh, listen, there is book containing sexually explicit material. There is child pornographies in books. In some of the books, not all of them contain child pornography. There is some books that there is like a boy touching the dicks of a man, and there is other books that contain very sexually explicit material. Those books are in schools. I told them that those books are a danger to children and they do nothing. You understand why the thing is? For one issue, they will go to the school right away to remove the threat from the children. But for another issue, they keep it there. It's like for some issue, well, they will be involved in school, but for other issue, we won't be involved. So they lied to me when they told me they cannot be involved, or they just completely grooms to believe that they cannot be involved into these kinds of things. So yeah, we have to give the power back to the people to explain to people that there are things in life that are just wrong. Child mutilations is wrong. There is no debate about it. And showing sexually explicit material to children is wrong. And there is no debate about it. This is a grooming materials that can be used by pedophiles to freaking abuse children. And that's it. We have to give the power back to the people. And that's my main things I want to do. Because there's no politician that are going to to solve issue alone. They need the people with them in order to solve issues. And within the people, When you bring the people with you, what you bring lawyers with you bring police officers with you bring judge with you. That's what leadership should be about, is to bring all those peoples together and to make change, not to say, oh, I'm the one who's going to change everything in the new city. No, 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 we have to bring the people who've got the skill to make change in this city and to make change in this city. So that's what, and I really want my what I want to do is I want to make Abbotsford the the example to follow for other cities.
So whether
And
it's a
and I wish that on other cities and other will do exactly. I wish that there will be other people that are running as an independent, in other city all across the country. And the reason why I'm saying independent is because I don't believe in party politics. I don't believe in there's always a war between party, right? As an independent, I'm not at war with any parties, right? I make decisions based on if I agree with the bills or not. I vote yes or no, or I write legislatures based on what I believe is right. I don't have the party to tell me, oh, you got to believe this, or you're not a part of the parties, right? So yeah, so that's the thing too, because now we kind of forced to, let's say Vancouver is a bit more progressive than Abbotsford. Abbotsford is more religious, but now because of this party thinking, well, Vancouver is bringing all this progressive stuff to Abbotsford, which is more religious, because the party is kind of, there's more people in Vancouver anyway, because the party is kind of more in line with the ideology of Vancouver. So it just doesn't make any sense. It's just,
So you're independent thinking, and that's what we need. Brad, you're going to ask a question. I've got another clip I'm going to show.
Well, he's got MLA and then school board. He's kind of mixing them all together there, whether it's the political aspect of a member of the legislature assembly or whether it's a school board member. We need people, good people, who understand the difference between right and wrong. And that's, I think, what Pierre is really trying to say here, is that when he runs as an independent, it's not going to be based on any political party who pays him off or he's collected money for him. It's going to be based on just his own self-righteousness of right and wrong. And, that's the kind of moral and ethics that we need in our schools.
Yeah, exactly. And it's gonna be, based on my own view of things, but based on the conversations I will have with people as well. Because the problem with political parties is they have the big caucus within themselves, right? And then they make the decisions within that caucus, and everyone has to follow it. Instead, I believe as an independent that you bring the people with you and you talk to the people. Then you bring the ideas together. It's not just my own idea of what is wrong and right. There is things of what is wrong and right is all clear to be wrong and right for me. But the other thing that, people sometimes would change by having discussions with people as well. But there are things that will never change. Like mutilating children is wrong. It will always be wrong. Over-sexualization of children is wrong, and it should always be wrong.
Right, but one of the things that I want to ask, Pierre, I think you're the kind of individual who actually would allow the conversation to take place. It wouldn't be just a definitive answer of yes or no immediately, or you're right and I'm wrong, or I'm wrong and you're right. It would be, let's have that open communication. Am I fair to say that? Is that something that you would do?
We need to have open conversations. Let's say in regards to gender ideology and the sexualization of children, we need to have open discussions with both sides. And the reasons we need this is to show the people are freaking wrong the other side is in regards to gender ideology and the sexual, because that's why they don't want to go public. That's why those people, they don't publicly talk about this stuff, because they don't want to be heard. They don't want people to listen all the crap that come out of their mouth. So they got all the activists on the street that are making the noise for them. But the politicians, it's very weird that you're going to hear politicians actually did in detail explaining what they are doing to children.
As John would say, we're starting with mental health issues, and it continues with mental health issues all the way along. And those mental health issues need to be addressed by parents of children who are obviously affected with mental health issues, and vice versa. Parents who need mental health issues too, because it's not just the kids out there that need that help. Parents are pushing this. Some parents are making sure that it continues to happen within their own walls.
That's right. And speaking of the additional issue, the grooming, again, parents have to get involved, whether the local level or As following Pierre's example, he feels compelled to get involved at the provincial, or here it would be the state level. Can we afford to sit back and trust those that are in office or in schools? Let's find out.
At Atrisco Heritage Academy's prom just this past weekend was literally a surprise for students and parents.
Some of them, though, say it was unwelcome. Video of it is going viral. A drag queen dancing at the prom at the Albuquerque Convention Center, and tonight it's still unclear if school or district officials actually approved that performance. And as with many things these days on social media, there's plenty of misinformation surrounding the story, so we're busy sorting all of it out.
Absolutely. Cassie Foote spoke to APS officials and Atrisco Heritage Academy students today. So Cassie, what are the kids saying? Because most of the parents who reached out to us are pretty angry.
Well, the students who were...
So we're going to find out what the kids have to say, but still, watch the slant of this.
At the prom say they were not offended, just shocked. In the viral videos, you can hear the students cheering on the drag queen, but all the students we talked to today didn't think it was an appropriate time or place for that kind of performance.
Mythica, you ready, queen?
It's not the kind of queen we typically see at high school proms.
Never seen that before.
Videos now making the rounds on social media show drag queen Mythica Serene performing at Atrisco Heritage Academy's prom last weekend at the Albuquerque Convention Center. And we've gotten emails and messages from parents who are not happy about it. We talked to some Atrisco Heritage students who went to the prom and saw the performance. They say they weren't offended, but were shocked and uncomfortable.
Honestly, it was really interesting and I didn't mind it, but the thing is, it's the place and where it happened, full of minors, it wasn't very appropriate for prom.
Could have kept it more on the side of it being more PG, with the fact that they kind of did twerk on a couple of students. It wasn't exactly the best, but it was something that did happen.
And they did let students twerk on them.
Those students say the dance moves weren't the only questionable parts of the performance.
They kind of busted down and I'm pretty sure they showed their crotch a little bit.
Yeah, the clothing was a little, skimpy, if that's a correct way to put it.
In this video, you can see the performer remove a breast pad and dab her face with it.
I was just stunned. I wasn't expecting it.
Was this performance approved by school or district officials? That's unclear. And APS reps said they weren't at liberty to comment beyond a letter that went out to Atrisco Heritage families Wednesday. It says district officials are aware of the performance and are investigating what occurred and how it impacted students. The students we spoke to didn't know who invited or approved the drag queen's appearance, but they believe it was organized just based on the way the DJ introduced her.
Offended isn't what most people were. They were kind of just why? In most cases, they were mostly the thought of why would they do something so drastic within that case?
I did speak with the performer. He did not want to talk to us on camera, but said he works with the school's Gay Straight Alliance. He claims he did not get paid for the performance and claims it went up the correct chain. However, he wouldn't tell us who exactly that included or who booked him. There is commentary on one version of the video going around claiming that performer stripped during the prom. Well, there is no video showing that to be true, and the students say they never saw that happen. Tessa, Trevor?
And that's what we're here to do, sort out what's fact, what's not.
Fiction.
All right, Cassie, thanks. Now,
Yeah, that's it. That's what we're here to. What's fact? What is fact is they've got a guy dressed in women's underwear and drag strutting his stuff at a prom. The kids didn't know, and it went all the way up the chain of command, and he wasn't paid. Okay, so what is it? Philanthropic motivation. So, Pierre, this is what got you motivated in the first place. And now you are running for office in British Columbia.
Little humor for that. It seems as though they said home of the Jaguars. Is that what they call them there? We call them Cougars still up here in Canada.
That's right. That's right. Going after young kids, older guys,
Oh,
but
just-
in this case, going after minors.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, exactly.
So
I mean,
as the
wait,
MLA, Pierre, what are you going to do? How are you going to get there? How are you going to make this happen, pal?
to get MLA?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! I didn't think about the campaign too much. Actually, I don't think I'm not. The election is in October, so I'm gonna write down a little bit. What I want to do for people. But people know me. That's the thing. It's very different. There's a lot of people that know me in Abbotsford, and I got a lot of support from many community. So I'm definitely not gonna run a campaign like any other politicians. I don't plan to. I'm gonna tell the people what I'm gonna do. If they want to vote for me, they vote for me. If they don't want to vote for me, they don't vote for me. But the main things I want to do, and that's the message I try to push to everyone is I don't want to promise to the people and I'm going to do something when I'm going to be elected. What I want to do is I want to use this campaign to change things because of the exposures to it, right? So now people know that I'm running. There's going to be a lot more exposures. About me, but if there is exposures about me, that means that there is exposures about what's going on in school, because it's that's what I want. I want people to know more what's going on in school during that campaign, and I want to make change during that campaign. I don't want to promise people I'm going to make change. I want to make change during the campaign. I want to meet with parents. I want the parents to start to email the school boards and to start to address the issue of sexual abuse and the exposures of sexual explicit material to children in school, and the issue of gender ideology pushing in the head of children all across Abbotsford, right? Because it's happening. I talked to many parents there that has the children transitions because of the Abbotsford school board. And we have to say is, and I like to be specific about that, and not just in Canada. I want to be specific about the Abbotsford school board. And I think people have to start to go in this city and to say, well, I say in my city, this is happening. Try to find a case in your city when it is happening, and shame your city officials, shame your teachers and principals and trustee and the office of the superintendent who are trying to push this. And the things I want to tell to people is that, the office of the superintendent of the school, most of the time hide behind the trustee. So yes, deal with the trustee, but make sure that you deal with the superintendent, because it seems sometimes that they forgot to deal with the superintendent because they think that the trustee is going to change something, but the trustee have the power to change things. But if they don't talk to the superintendent, address the issue of the superintendent, and shame the superintendent of the school district, because the superintendent has a lot of power in the school districts. And ironically enough, the main task of trustee is to elect the superintendent. Actually, so there is a big connection between superintendent and trustees and what is pushed into school.
Yeah, that's interesting, Pierre, because down in the States, superintendent typically is an elected position, if I'm recalling correctly. But either way, it's so important for parents to get engaged, as you have, and now you are running for office. Let me play another clip to show parents how important it is to understand how predators are now using the LGBTQ++ umbrella to target kids to gain access, right? They come across as nice, friendly people, nice guys, nice people, but under the surface, and again, this is not an anti-anything episode. This is a raising the bar on the protection of women and children, quite frankly. But as you are running for office, Pierre, you have felt compelled to take the next step, get involved, but to really show parents what is becoming a haven for predators. Let's show the next clip to show parents that they have to be vigilant, they have to get involved. And we're going to continue the next clip.
All right, Cassie, thanks.
Now the details here. Philadelphia transgender activist identified as Kendall Stevens is...
Now, by the way, this is a guy in drag. This is not a woman that you will be seeing. Okay, this is a biological male in drag.
Now charged with sexually assaulting 2 children under the age of 13.
Action News reporter Annie McCormick, she's live for us outside police headquarters with the new details we're learning about this, Annie.
Yeah, Gray and Shari, disturbing details. Kendall Stevens was arrested today for the rape of a minor. Sources confirm that she is the same Stevens who is a prominent LGBTQ activist in the city. The state attorney general's office filed charges tonight against 37-year-old Kendall Stevens. The charges include the indecent assault against a person less than 13 years old, rape, unlawful contact with minors, sexual offenses, and endangering the welfare of children, parent or guardian. Stevens came to Action News in August of 2020 after she was attacked in her Point Breeze neighborhood. She says she was targeted by a violent group.
Now you notice again, it keeps saying she. This is a biological male.
Being a trans woman. Stevens then became a prominent activist for the LGBTQ community. She urged lawmakers to change Pennsylvania's hate crime statute to include protections for LGBTQ people. She is seen here in March of 2021 at a press conference launching District Attorney Larry Krasner's LGBTQ Plus Advisory Board. The board was created in part to be a source of information and resources for victims and survivors of crime within the community.
It means to me that the transgender population will finally get the support that we need from city officials that we really haven't gotten historically.
Sources tell Action News the charges are in relation to the rape of 2 young boys under the age of 13. Stevens remains in custody tonight. A spokesperson for the district attorney's office said in a statement, the investigation of allegations against her is being led by another agency, and as such, we have no comment. Now, judge did set bail at $250,000. The next court appearance is scheduled for December 29th. Often, the state attorney general's office takes on cases from local district attorneys' offices if there's a conflict. For now, reporting live outside of Philadelphia Police Headquarters, Annie McCormick for Action News at 10 on PHL 17. Great.
And again, that is a guy. It's not, they're using female pronouns. That was a guy that was perping on kids that found a way to be an activist, and therefore school board members and principals would begin to listen to that guy in drag.
Yeah, and they all gonna call him her, right? It's just crazy that even the police and probably the judge are going to be in line with calling this freaking weirdo her. It's ridiculous.
And it places kids in harm's way.
Yeah, and what about statistics? Statistics about sexual abuse are based on gender. Some of them are based on gender. It's going to mess up the entire statistic and mess up the entire programs that are there to protect children. Because now people are going to start to protect children against women, but they should protect children more against men, right? But now there will be more women that abuse children. So you understand me? So everything is, lots of things are going to change because of the statistics are going to change. Because a lot of programs are made based on statistics and data collected, but now the data is all corrupted. There's no data that is right. So the programs are all going to be messed up. So what is the ratio of men and women? Let's say there's a lot more abusers and men than women, correct?
Far more.
Well, what if this changed? What if this changed? Let's say it started to happen, 50%, 50-50. It will change things in terms of the programs that are in place to protect children. So that's another danger, and I think that's something that those people have planned to destabilize everything about to corrupt. Actually, if you corrupt the data and all the statistic that you got in order to build programs, well, you can mess up society quite solid, and I think that's what's happening right now.
So, Pierre, will you attend to the issue of this pronoun stuff to the extent that you're able to? That is pushing the difficulty to discern and distinguish between actual male and female. I know on the provincial and state levels, right? That's a big thing, especially in public policy, to do this preferred pronouns or gender neutral language, which then ultimately puts this as a public safety issue. It endangers kids.
Yeah, for me, there is no such a thing as preferred pronoun. It's very simple. It's we cannot. How can I say this? To go ahead with the delusions of people. We cannot. This is ridiculous. I mean, those people, they are delusionals. They are either delusionals or they are completely evil and they want to hurt children. There is two things, right? There is the delusional people, but actually more than two things. There's the delusional people, the mentally ill people, and the evil people who want to push ideology to our country and destroy it. So I think for me, I think anyway. So I think we should not reinforce the delusions of those who have delusions. It's with the pronoun. So your pronoun is what the sex you are assigned at birth, and that's it. It's way too. It creates way too much problems to start to go with the preferred pronouns. And I think now we have the proof that it creates so much problems. I think Jordan Peterson talked about this in 2016 when they had the Bill C-16 regarding forcing people to use the proper pronouns with people. And look what's going on right now. So I think we know that the Bill C-16 and the preferred pronoun BS was probably not a good idea. But they already those freaking evil people. They already knew this before.
It's been very strategic. It's been very strategic.
Oh, yeah,
Brad, I know you're a dad and you're in broadcasting, but also you're a hockey coach. What are your thoughts? Because
to participate is to condone this, and that's not what you should be doing at this point in time. There's a lot of questions that need to be answered before you should ever condone this type of activity in your own household or anyone who's relating to your own kids. This grooming that we talk about quite regularly on the program is something that's not just happening within the books, the classrooms. It's coming from peer pressure in their friends. Their own friends are involved. Their own friends are participating because their own parents are pushing it. But next thing you know, the parents who say don't participate to their own kids, their kids are being swindled into this from their own friends at school. So it's not the school necessarily doing it. It's not necessarily the teachers doing it or the school board. It's actually their friends, and their friends have been coerced. Their friends have been manipulated. The manipulation now starts at the top and works its way down. Instead of saying Pierre for MLA, I think it should be Pierre for Minister of Education. I mean, that's the kind of clear thinking and headspace that job requires. And I think that Pierre would make a great candidate for that position. But you start in one spot and you work your way through and you hopefully get to that position one day, because who else is going to do it if you don't? And you know what? If you're willing to step up now, I can see it continuing on for the future.
That's right.
Wait a minute. I just somebody came in the office.
Okay, that's fine. I'm going to show another clip, Pierre, which will prime us for additional.
Shari.
Yeah, Annie, thank you. A story that we will stay on top of. Thanks for the update.
A former state representative who identifies as transgender was arrested on child pornography charges Thursday. Police say former New Hampshire Democrat state representative 39-year-old Stacey Marie Lawton, born Barry Charles Lawton Jr., faces 4 counts of distributing sexually explicit images of children. Nashua Police Department was told the former lawmaker had been distributing explicit images, and on Thursday, police searched Lawton's house and arrested him. In 2008, Lawton was convicted of credit card felony, and in 2012 the LGBTQ agenda heralded him for becoming the first state lawmaker to identify as transgender.
A former school
ugly looking woman. Just saying.
I didn't look at it.
Oh, you're muted, John. There we go.
There we go. That's at the state lawmaking level. So this has been a very strategic series of moves over years to really, from the top down and from the bottom up, so to speak, pardon the pun there, to really influence kids and public policy and legislation. And Pierre, you've basically had enough. You've said enough is enough. You are running for office, but this is also to encourage other parents to get involved, whether at the local level or at the state or provincial level.
Here we go. Yeah, that's the main thing. Listen, I always tell people to people. I have a broken French accent, okay, and I'm not the best at public speakings and all this stuff, but I still do it. I do what I can do to make change. Whatever I can do, I try to do it in order to make change regarding the gender ideology and the over-sexualization of children in our school. And I think every parents out there should try to do what they can. And there is a dad out there that's got a very strong character, or they have to go right there in the school boards and to confront those people. You know what I mean? So I think the most important things for people is to start to do what you can do. Don't just sit down and do nothing because you don't know what to do. Just do what you think you can do. If you're good at writing later, write later. If you're good at public speaking, make public speaking and try to inspire parents to make change regarding that, or go in the front of school board meeting and talk about this stuff. There's people that like to talk. They like to go in front of school board. They like this stuff. You need those people. We need those people to go there and to speak about this thing. So yes, and there is lawyers there that's got very good skill. They can help with it. So my point is, we are in a time of crisis in our country in many aspects. In Canada, we are in a time of crisis. We are in a spiritual battle. It's not a time to sit down and do nothing. It's not even a time to think about what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. It's a time to do it. Do something. Life is a chess game, right? All this thing is a chess game. You got to start to move if you want your opponent to move, and then you'll see what he's going to do. Then you do another move. They do another move. But you got to start the game. That's what people have to do. And each person has his own school board, and they all have to start to have that discussions with them. And and the good things when you start to have a discussion with school board is you know where they stand right away. Those ideologically driven psychopaths, they're very easy to how can I say this? I don't know the word, but to know who they are, let's say. Anyway, so you got to start that's it. That's why I told people. As you can see, look at my English, right? Look at my accent. And I'm still doing something, and I still was able to make change. There are people out there that are a lot more qualified than me, okay? And that they could make a lot more change than I did. They just have to step and have the courage to do something. That's it. Take the courage and do something. We don't have the time. We don't have time to waste. Our country is just, things are getting worse and worse. And not a time to be complacent and to be cowards. It's a bunch of cowards out there that does nothing. It's ridiculous.
There we go. Let's again reemphasize, we have to get involved, because if we do not, these are the things that are happening at the local level.
Relationship with a student now also faces bestiality charges. Stephen Rosales allegedly had inappropriate sexual contact with a dog at his Fond du Lac County home. Police reviewed the contents of his phone for the investigation into the alleged inappropriate relationship. They found texts describing the sexual interactions he had with the dog.
And this is a resource officer at school, in an elementary school. And they found thousands of texts between him and other students. And the reason I'm playing this is to help people understand that sexually deviant men, by the time they are into alternative lifestyles, they oftentimes have already accessed bestiality material. These are not nice people.
Rosales' colleagues say they're shocked.
He's been with our department for 7 years, and it's a shock to all of us. I immediately reached out to Chief Daring in West Bend and requested help to do an independent investigation.
Kewaskum police say Rosales is no longer employed by the department. The Kewaskum School District says it is troubled by the allegations and is cooperating with law enforcement. An initial court appearance is scheduled for Rosales on Wednesday morning in Fond du Lac County Court.
And Pierre, this is the kind of guy that reminds me of you. This is a mayor of a local town. These are the kind of people that we need. We need parents willing to get involved. Listen to what he is going to tell his entire school board that are allowing the sexually deviant books into schools.
Earl, members of the board, my name is Craig Schubert. I'm the mayor of this city. It has come to my attention that your educators are distributing essentially what is child pornography in the classroom. I've spoken to a judge this evening. She's already confirmed that. So I'm going to give you a simple choice. You either choose to resign from this Board of Education or you will be charged. Thank you. Thank you for your comment.
That is leadership.
Yeah, that was pretty
Gary,
good.
you've provided that kind of leadership at the local level now, meaning as a private citizen, and the website. And again, mention your website, but now you're getting involved.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, wait a minute. That's good. So yeah, I think that mayor's got lots of good. That mayor was actually very reasonable because he told them, if you resign, you won't be charged. You will be charged only if you don't resign. So I think it was quite reasonable. So hopefully they resign. Hopefully, no, not hopefully. Hopefully they don't resign and they will be charged. That's it. At some point, I think charge is important. People cannot just go away like that.
Accountability is needed all the way around, especially here in Canada. There has to be some accountability.
Exactly. That's the point we have in our country. There is no accountability. Those people seem to be able to do whatever the F they want, okay? And there is no accountability. Like even you listen to Justin Trudeau, he keep lying all the time, right? Nobody is never accountable for anything. He's corrupted. He's got so many cases of corruption against him, but no, there's no accountability. There's no accountability anywhere. They show this stuff to children. They are in Abbotsford. Again, Abbotsford, they find the book Genderqueer in school. Well, I find the book. I told them the books was there. One of the trustees actually has the guts to go there and remove the book. He did remove Genderqueer, okay? After 6 months of me telling them that they were a book showing very explicit stuff to children in the school. It took 6 months, but one of the trustees did it, okay? But where is the investigations? Who put the book there? So now I got the proof that the book was there because the trustee told me they removed the books, but who in Abbotsford put that book in school? We'll never know. They just go away with it, right? They abuse our children, then they go away with it. And that's the problem with institution. An institution is like the church. It protects itself. They want to protect the reputations of the entire, of the institution. And that's a big problem when you are willing to, when people are willing to accept sexual abuses in order to protect the institutions. They're not in an institutions anymore. They are in a cult. That's what happened. When your institutions is more important than the safety of children, you are in a cult. You just want to protect that master. It can be a school board, right? It can be just the school system that you want to protect. So that's very that's dangerous. But the good things too. Before with the church, what happened that's why I think shame work a lot, because before what happened with the church is that a lot of people were starting to shame the church, saying that all the church are like that and they are sexual abusers, but that's not the case. Not all the church are like that. Not everybody is sexual abuser, but they did that. A lot of people were starting to think like that. But what happened is that the church cleaned up itself. The church, all the church people say, I don't want to be associated with a bunch of pedophiles, and they all start to clean up their own mess, right? So if we do the same with the school, and if we shame them enough that people start to think that there's a bunch of, there is a bunch of weirdos that work in school. This is clear. You know what I mean? But at some point, people are just going to do the same thing that they did with the church. They're going to do with the school, and the school is going to clean up itself. I believe that at some point, the teacher there is going to say, I don't want this weirdo there teaching gender ideology because of these freaking weirdos, everyone thinks I'm a weirdo, right? They don't want that. There's good teacher there that don't want to be associated with the weirdo. So they're going to say, no, I don't want this freaking weirdo there. Get out of here. So we can do our jobs and the parent can respect us again. Because what happened with all the weirdo that is working now on the education profession is that they are there's a word for that, not shaming. They are, and I look at my award today; it's horrible. They are.
That's okay. You're
I want to find this. It's a very important work, actually. It's they kind of destroying their reputations
That's
of the
exactly.
teaching professions. But there is a specific word for that. But mainly, they are destroying the reputations of the teaching professions, and that's not good. And teachers have to fight back against those who are destroying the reputations of the teaching profession, because now the entire teaching professions, people, they look at it and they start to think that, every teachers are not correct, right? Because of all those words who are destroying the reputations of the teaching profession. So yeah, that's my point.
Well, Pierre, geographically, what area will have an opportunity to vote for you?
Abbotsford South.
Okay.
Abbotsford South. Yeah. South Fraser down. A little bit on the right too. For those who are from Abbotsford, they'll know it.
British Columbia and Canada. Okay.
Yeah. That's in BC, Canada. Yeah.
Right. But Pierre, you're an example. You're an encouragement to people, citizens south of the Canadian border here in the U.S. We need parents to step up.
Another thing I want to say to parents, because I like to talk to parents, right? Because that's how we're gonna make change. Listen, if you don't know what to do, if you think that you cannot do anything, at least just go in school with a T-shirt that says "Leave our kids alone," or "There's only two genders," or go with a hat like in the US, go in a hat like "Make America Great Again," or vote for Trump. just kidding, but you know what I mean? Just to piss off the left, just to make them very uncomfortable. Wear something that if you don't want to talk to them, at least go there and wear something, or have your kids wear something that is, that is just clear. There's only two genders. Leave our kids alone, or put a red hat. It sounds stupid, but it's a very easy way to protest and to make them uncomfortable. I don't like to see the rainbow flag. I hate that freaking the progressive flag. It's a ridiculous flag to have around children, and I don't feel comfortable when my child see that flag. Well, I'm gonna make those people uncomfortable when they're gonna see me around with a "Leave Our Kids Alone" T-shirt, or with a red flag or a red hat on my head, or something like. You have to. This is a while. You have to fight back. You don't just look at them, let them freaking indoctrinate your children to believe that there is freaking 1,000 genders, and that cutting the body part is a solution to anything. It's so ridiculous, man. It's so ridiculous.
You can even have a shirt or a hat that says "Leave our girls' sports alone," "Leave our women's sports alone," "Leave our female prisons alone," "Leave our children alone."
There we go.
Leave the bathrooms alone.
Do this thing's gonna go away like super fast.
That's right.
It's easy, man.
I want to make mention of this tonight, guys. This is our first live episode here on Unmasking the Trans Movement. We do have a few viewers, and we want to thank them for being here. Chatty Charlie has been watching and commenting along here in the chat, as well as Locke. Thank you very much to both of you. Chatty Charlie, one of the comments was, parents who have been captured by this and have gone along with this ideology will never be able to flip the narrative for fear of being called out as neglectful and abusive. This is so absolutely terrible. And children do not need smartphones, so keep the phones away from your kids. And one more from Chatty Charlie. I'm in Ontario and have a grandchild on the way. It's time, if we don't stand up for this, we're just going to keep falling down this awful rabbit hole. You're absolutely correct, Chatty Charlie. We thank you very much for being here tonight and being part of our program. Locke as well. Thank you to Pierre Barnes. We appreciate all of your hard efforts. We wish you continued success in the South British Columbia MLA run that you're going to take and embark on come October. We wish you continued success, and we encourage everybody to make sure they stop by and see your website at exposingsoji.com. And all the information is there, the documents to help to send to MLAs in your neighborhoods, MLAs, MPs, members of parliament, right up to Justin Trudeau himself. John, final words before we wrap things up here live on Unmasking the Trans Movement tonight.
Well, my appreciation to you, Brad, and you're the one that keeps us going here. And Pierre, thank you again, in a way on short notice. But it's so crucial for people to get involved and follow your footsteps. But for those in the Abbotsford area, and what's the other area in British Columbia?
Fraser Valley.
Abbotsford.
Fraser Valley. Yeah, but it's the Abbotsford South is South Fraser down. that's just the way that people understand when is Abbotsford sold.
Okay, so people can reach out to you. You're on Twitter. Your Twitter handle, so to speak, is Pierre_Barns, Barns. And so they can reach out to you on that, or Exposing Soji. Is it Soji123.com?
Soji123.com.
There you go. If they want to support your campaign, or if they want to talk to you about any resources you have on your site, or if they just want to get encouragement as far as running in their own local race, or even state or provincial race. So Pierre, thank you so much. And Brad, as always, this is, well, you say it best, this is not our kids' fight, but one that we need to engage in.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Great to have you both here tonight. Take care, everybody. Thanks for joining us on our first live episode. John and I are going to be planning out how we're going to make these live episodes happen on a weekly basis with some more fantastic guests where the public gets to interject, throw in their questions. We give them the answers that they need, and we try to be as educational and helpful as we possibly can, whether it's on the trans side of things, the mental health side of things. All qualifications are here through John Euler and all of his guests that are broadcast guests and clinical experts along the way. So thank you very much for all your efforts, both of you, and I wish you continued success. Thanks for being here tonight. Thanks, everybody. Take care. We'll see you again next time. Good night.